Hey everybody, this is Ron Plant, Le Grand Fromage. This is lesson one of how to turn your vacation photos into art. We're going to create an awesome watercolor painting from a vacation photo. Check out the watercolor I did from a snapshot taken at a very famous Orlando World Animal Resort. I don't want to mention because I don't want to pay any royalties. Lots to shoot and look at there, and many shoot with a camera. Many of my photos always seems when I come home scream they want to become paintings. Ron, make me into a painting, please, please. And remember, you don't want it to look exactly like the photo. You want it to look like a painting that captures the feeling of what you've experienced in person. Otherwise, just frame the photo, right? And so in order to do that, let's look at the materials we'll need. You'll need your favorite watercolor stuff, a printout of the picture, drawing and tracing stuff. If you don't have stuff and you want to stuff up, you can get some of this stuff. Either an El Cheapo kit of little dried cakes of watercolor in a plastic holder like this on the upper left. Works fine if you're just starting out. Or assorted tubes of watercolors in basic colors. See the Art Design Village site for a detailed list of the specific items. Then you'll need good watercolor paper available in sheets or blocks, which are pads. Sponges, I prefer the natural ones. Soft hair brushes like camel, sable, squirrel, varmint, critter, whatever. Just so long as they're soft hair and not the bristle type, the pig bristle type, which are more meant for thick paints like oils and acrylics. You'll need pencils for drawing and tracing, a kneaded eraser for cleaning, a mixing area or palette of some kind. I use a styrofoam egg container, egg carton, or a clamshell is my favorite. It's nice and smooth. You can wipe it out real easily to clean it. And a small and large bowl of water. Paper towels, masking tape, drawing board, cup of coffee, elbow room, drop cloths, towels, newspapers. Somehow or other you want to keep the house clean. And be sure to play the appropriate tunes while you're working. I like to work to music myself. Anything that puts you in a mood. Just remember you're a rookie and student grade stuff is fine for now. Okay, let's get started. Pick a pick. Pick a pick is the way to start. Not much to elaborate here except you want to pick a shot that really says to you, I should be a painting. I chose the Asian temple in the upper left. Then you want to print it out in color or black and white and mess with the contrast and brightness if you can, if you have Photoshop or some other program. Often it helps to, for the next step of tracing, you can see the details better, and sometimes you want to keep things in, sometimes you want to keep them out. And remember that the beauty of doing a work of art is that you can move things, add things, remove things. It's better than living with the photo as is. You take a picture, that's the way it's going to look. When you're doing artwork, you can kind of tighten up the composition and make it closer to perfect if you want. Otherwise, all together now, just frame and hang the photo. Trace it off is the next step. Trace it off. You tape down your printout to the watercolor paper. You want to make sure the watercolor paper is taped down all the way around, the printout only along one side. Tape the printout to one side or the other, leaving a workspace. I'm right-handed, so I left a column of white watercolor paper exposed, as you can see, so that I can use it to try out my colors. Or you want to rub graphite all over the back, graphite, pastel, charcoal, all over the back of your printout, or use a separate sheet of paper coated with charcoal or graphite or chalk. And you want to make sure that you trace off everything in your photo, except you don't want to trace off everything. You want to make sure that you are leaving some of the drawing to the actual painting. You will not trace off every single little thing and outline everything in this harsh black line, because it starts to look like a coloring book, and you want to avoid that if you can. You want to have just enough detail there so that you can capture what you're drawing. The next step, we're going to clean it up, address the details, Using a kneaded eraser, wipe off, dab off, I like to say draw off any excess chalk or charcoal. Lighten up all of the trace lines so that they drop way back into the background, and I usually even eliminate some of the line work. We want to avoid at all costs, let's do it like an announcement. At all costs, avoid making it look like a coloring book drawing. Heavy black outlines around everything is just plain awful. Lay in some color is the next step. Either all the shadows or start with the background working toward the foreground, whatever is your usual way to work. For beginners, I always suggest laying in the background and working toward the foreground. Always best to start light, however, no matter what. Start with light washes of color and gradually add to the color, layer upon layer of transparent color, which watercolor is a transparent medium, and it works well this way. It's easier to make it darker as you go along. Lightening the colors after they're too dark is not impossible, but not easy. So fun part next. Keep adding color and translating from your memory of that experience onto the art piece. Have the picture in front of you for reference if necessary, but remember, we want to avoid copying the photo. That's not our goal. Take the subject where the camera couldn't go. Use your smaller water container to thin your paint and the larger one to clean your brushes out between colors. Mix a little color, one color at a time. Wipe your clamshell, mix your color with a paper towel. And this is not being timed. There's no time limit. So you stop every now and then to look at it, to admire it, and to assess it. How am I doing? How am I doing? Rest your eyes. Tell yourself how great an artist you are. Continue going back and forth, back and forth. Add color, remove some, and this is a good point to just let it rest, come back with fresh eyes, and see how you're doing. If you have a mat or frame already chosen, stop and check your progress as you go. You haven't actually chosen a frame yet, just use a piece of mat board or some corners of mat board or paper just to block out all that nasty stuff around the edges, the clutter of your tools, what have you, paper towels. Looking good? Then continue working. Keep working. If it's looking good, finish it up. Not looking good, fix it. It's always fixable, right? And there's no log in starting over. So if you get in such a bind that it's really going to take a lot more effort to try to rescue a piece of crap and make a work of art out of it, you might be better off just to start over. Finish up with adding the details. Here I'm removing the superfluous stuff with a kneaded eraser, sometimes a damp paper towel to daub up some excess color. I clean up and touch up, use a charcoal pencil to add those fine little details. I've used too much, I erase it, and then set it aside and look at it critically over and over. So this is the whole process. Add things, take things out, check it out. Add things, take things out, check it out. And when you think it's complete, ta-da, ta-ta-ta-ta, it's done. Sign it. Sign it, frame it, hang it, show it to people. Visit the site for more details. You may register and keep in touch with us. And we'll see you for lesson 2.